Hello and welcome back to the Grab by the Ghoulies Pacifist challenge where I suffer so fictitious enemies don't have to. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is a series where I'm attempting to do the least kills and damage in Grab by the Ghoulies. Here are the current stats on the screen, which are a little higher than I would like them. However, I plan on returning to some of the levels and fixing up some mistakes so that we can lower them. However, focusing our attention back to where we are currently, this is one of my least favorite levels I've ever had to do in this. Hands down. There are two main contributing factors, and they both have to do with the Grim Reaper. Unfortunately, he has a very tight schedule, so he can only come every minute and 30, meaning every time I die, I have to wait a minute and 30 before he returns, which really sucks. The reason this is such a problem is because since we are such saints, it is of utmost importance that he is here to help us. The other problem, however, is much worse. Because if this problem wasn't in place, I likely would have gotten this within my first 5 attempts. See, Death himself, apparently, even has a weakness, and that weakness is being kicked out of windows, first off, and second, fire. Every enemy in this level is a fire imp, so every time he touches them, he has to stand there and recuperate because reasons. The only way that you can do this level is getting the Grim Reaper to touch the fire imps. After he has the short stun, for whatever reason, as he's lifting his hand, there's a small window where he can kill them. So, as you can imagine, doing this was incredibly tedious and difficult. Unfortunately though, no matter what way I cut it, this level simply did not work out in my favor. Time after time after time after time, I would die to the Grim Reaper because he gets progressively faster the longer you stay in a level and he is there. I eventually got a run where I managed to get down to 2 imps and then died to the Grim Reaper. So the next time I got down to that many, I decided it was not worth the risk and killed them, unfortunately adding 2 kills and 20 damage to the counter. But I will be back. I would say though that it's pretty good to work it down from the hellacious 20 imps down to 2, if I do say so myself. So, after Ma Soupswill takes the random disgusting objects we've been carrying around for the last 3 hours retrieving throughout the mansion, she puts them into the pot, creates a cure for Amber, supposedly, and we're on our merry way. Fortunately, this visit to the cellar is a breath of fresh air filled with the scent of wine and murky, ceiling-dripping water. There's nothing particularly hard to do here, and it only took me a couple of attempts. The win condition here is finding a spider with a key and killing it, so my original plan was to get damaged, which is the Grim Reaper condition here, have him come and kill the spider, but it turned out to be easier just to get a Mini Cooper, which is hidden in one of the wine barrels, and have him kill the spider. Problem solved. Arriving back at Ye Olde Archives, we find Amber right where we left her in her ghoulie form, and we get to watch a scene of us interestingly applying the antidote. But it turns out Ma Soupswill accidentally put this chemical X stuff in the antidote because she apparently keeps it right next to her pepper. And, you know, this is super relatable. You don't know how many meals have ended in this sort of like monster transformation because of my cooking mishaps. So, now that our girlfriend looks like this and wants to kill us, we have to show her that pain is beauty and beat the shit out of her instead so she goes back to normal. But since we're such nice guys, we're instead going to get the help of our garden gnome-sized versions to do the exact same thing for us. And this is the one saving grace of this level, as there's no other way to keep her blood off our hands if these Mini Coopers weren't here. I guess they figured that as far as fights in this game come, I suppose this is one of the harder ones. And it is one of the more annoying ones in this challenge, I suppose, as far as just a single enemy, because if you don't pick them up at a specific time, then Amber's invincibility frame will prevent them from fully killing her before they disappear, and then you have nothing else you can do. After not too many attempts though, she was slain by my tiny friends, and we are able to move on. As soon as we're done doing the hardest work fighting for our lives, or getting our tiny selves to do so, Ma Soupswill arrives with the correct antidote, administers it as prescribed straight to the cranium, and all is well. Unfortunately for our two heroes, who have probably had the worst night of their lives so far, Mr. Ribs requests that they stay for a nice dinner. Stay to rescue the random prisoners who are also trapped in the mansion by Baron von Ghoul. Amber and Cooper then both agree that this is a better decision than going and getting the police involved in this kidnapping. And instead they're going to stay and help by themselves. Alright. Walking through the grand hallway barely qualifies the level because it is just walking to this door. And then next, the housekeeping store is basically the same thing, except you have to retrieve a key, which is very poorly hidden in this wardrobe. I did, however, have a neat little time in the next level, Criven's Quarters, because it provides a nice little challenge and isn't annoying really at all. You see, Crivens has locked himself in the closet out of fear of the flying imps which have infested his room. Now this level is pretty fun because there's several ways to achieve it. First off, flying imps can hurt each other, which is very fun to watch and satisfying, since with their tail attack they can wipe out multiple of their brethren with just one strike. Next up, there is a single Mini Cooper, which you have to be careful when retrieving because breaking this sink provides a ample opportunity to accidentally kick a flying imp, which is a no-no. And then, as a final resort, we can use the method we've discovered earlier of doing a light attack on an enemy with 1 damage, not killing them or doing any damage at all, to summon the Grim Reaper, as not using weapons in this level summons him. On my winning attempt, I used a combination of all 3 of these and got this epic snipe to finish it. God damn, I love the combat in this game. So, after taking care of the flying imp problem as a complete pacifist, just saying, Crivens decides it's time to come out of the closet, and, you know what? Proud of him. Not even 30 seconds being free though, he already sends us on a retrieval quest to find pieces of a poem scattered around the mansion which open Baron von Ghoul's door. Because apparently regular old door locks and keys are outdated. Finding ourselves back in the housekeeping store, we are in an interesting conundrum, as we no longer are able to simply find a key. Instead, we have to find a warlock who's hidden in a wardrobe and then kill him to open the door, as one does. Now, if there were a single Mini Cooper in here, would be helpful. If there were a single other enemy, likely would have been helpful. But unfortunately, we're alone in here with him, and we have no other choice but to kill him. I did search this entire room for anything that might be the least bit helpful, but unfortunately there really isn't anything, and the lack of other enemies is really what puts a stop on this, as well as the fact there's no way to summon the Grim Reaper here. As nice as this long drought of murder was, we unfortunately have to add 50 damage to the counter and 1 kill of the warlock. All we can do though is wipe the magical blood off our hands and move forward with smiles in our face and hope in our hearts. We return to the grand hallway for the 7,890 for the somethingth time, and fortunately we don't have much to do here except kind of just survive, because we're only given 1 health and there's a bunch of skeletons that would love to kill us. The best thing you can do here is go over here, open this pot, get the friendly ghoulie potion, they kill each other and distract themselves while we just make our way through the open door. Easy. Now, the upper quarters is another example of barely a level, as I think the devs just had a good time spamming enemies and then decided, alright, give them a friendly ghoulie potion, see what happens, and this is what happened. So, with no challenge even presented, I just leave. Next up, we have the end of the video, because the bathroom has some interesting things in it, and I want to start off the next video with it, so, I will see you in another 2 years when I upload part 5. If you want to see more parts in this series, or more pacifist games done by me, then click the like button and leave a comment. Genuinely, the reason why this video exists is because of these 2 nice people, and I am not kidding. When I saw these comments, it's what encouraged me to finally finish this. All support is extremely, genuinely appreciated. Here are the final stats as of the end of this video for those who are curious, And to be genuine, part 5 is in the works as of the finishing of this video, so hopefully it doesn't take a year. Hopefully. Anyway, thank you anyone who watched this far into the video. Hope y'all are doing amazing. Have a good one.